Hi, everybody. Welcome to your reading for today. Today's message is for March 2nd, 2020. And as you guys know, these readings are absolutely timeless. They are for anybody at any time, and not even the whole message. Even if you tune in for like 5 minutes and that is the only section that speaks to you, that was designed for you. And I just want to point out today's beautiful message is brought to us by this cute blue fuzzy blanket. You guys know I love my fuzzies, but I don't have my white fuzzy blanket anymore because I totally moved. So anyway, we're going to use this nice blue one for today. All right, so let's jump right in. Thank you, God. I've already called in my guides and angels. We're all blessed on this. So, yes, thanks, God. All right, so let's go in. So first of all, right off the bat, guys, I am seeing these two cards. And those of you who know your beautiful tarot, you number one know these are gorgeous cards. Look at this, Golden Universal Tarot. But also that these two cards mark the ending of cycles. The one on the right, the wheel, marks the ending of a cycle. And in my reading, it definitely marks the ending of a cycle. And of course, with endings come new beginnings. Now take a look at the World card on the left, which is really the end. I mean, like for reals, the end. Double endings. Right? So this is all about double endings, as you see, X and X, double endings. But Spirit is promising us a new return. Now, just as I said that I see the R and T, a new return, that looks like an N, but I don't, you guys know me, guys, I'm all about minimizing that suffering. Just because I say a new return does not necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is going to be returning to you. If you're stuck in a behavioral pattern that is based off of low self-worth, okay, I'll say that again. God bless you, because we've all been there. If you are stuck in a behavioral pattern that is based on low self-worth, and from that foundation you are wanting the return of somebody who, looking at the receipts, did not honor you, okay? And for some of you, those are very real financial receipts, but also it's receipts in terms of what you've gotten in return for your time and your resources, your emotions, things like that. If those things are not in alignment with your highest good and your best life, just because it says double ending and a time for return does not mean that that's the person who should be coming in for you. In fact, I'm getting the message here that if you see a bat, I love when they do this, they help us out, God, okay? If you see a bat, and I mean an animal bat, not a baseball bat, okay? If you see a bat and you are dealing with a relationship that you're wondering whether to let it go or not, then Spirit is saying that they are going to give you a hint. If you see a bat, that means let it go, okay? And that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a real bat flying overhead. It could be a bat, an image of a bat in a store window. It could be somebody walks in wearing a brooch with a bat on it. It could be whatever. You'll know if it speaks to you. You might even see a bat and it doesn't speak to you. There's nothing out of the blue about it, right? That may not be for you then. So, but Spirit is giving you a heads up, because some of you might be wondering, is it me and do I need to let go of this, or is this person returning for me and I should hold on? If you see a bat, the mammal, don't let it go. Please let it go. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue. God bless. Thank you, God. Now, I'm already seeing that there's a recurring theme of circles here. And so what they were saying is, it looks like so far, because I haven't pre-read the cards, it looks like so far the message is all about a commentary on endings, right? Now, this is designed to be a morning message. However, I'm feeling like I'm wondering if God wants to make it a morning message, and they're really pushing me to make sure I mention God in this reading. So maybe somebody needs to hear those words: God, 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 God. Okay, all right. So they really, really want me to push that, and you guys know God doesn't mince words with my reading, so that's just how it goes. But they're trying to push that, number one. But they're also showing, God is also showing that there's a recurring theme of circles. And the circles here are referring to the way that some of us and all of us are are dealing with certain endings in our life. And that's why I feel like God wants to make this not just a regular morning message, but actually a lesson or tutorial, which I would put in a different playlist. So we'll see how it pans out. All right. So first of all, God is saying that it's, oh yes, got it. They're even saying got it, Godit. Oh God, okay, okay, sorry about that. Got it. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm running dialogue and talking to you guys. They want me to point out God, number one. And number two, they want me to point out the fact that there's the Empress card here, the Emperor card here, a King card here, and another card that looks like a king, right? So they're pointing out that these are some major themes that we all deal with in our lives. And they're showing that for many of us, it is very common for it to be difficult to let some things go, because look at this. Imagine the King of Pentacles. Oh man, and they almost want to make some references to some Bible references. But guys, I need to do better with my references, right? But they're showing that many of us are set up like kings, right? God gives us so much to work with on earth. Whether you're, King Midas with the Midas touch, or whatever it is, or other kings of the Bible. Let me pause for a second because I feel like I need to look up a name. Hold on. Okay, thanks for waiting, guys. I just wanted to look up King Saul. I'm not too sure of the story about him, and I just don't have the time to read up right now. But you have time, maybe, and some of you may already know, and if you know the story of King Saul, maybe you may find there's an allegory in here. Whatever God brings through today, you may find that. But either way, I'm the messenger, and I say whatever they'd like to know. Anyway, but what I'm getting is that Spirit is bringing through that, you know what? Letting go may be hard, letting go of things, because we may be set up like kings and queens, and it's almost like there's this idea that, well, you know what, I was told, there's a sense of entitlement. I was told I was going to have this. I was given this to be able to sit and to rule over it, or to sit and quote unquote enjoy it. A lot of times, maybe, for example, we may work hard to get a house, and then when we finally get the house, we think we're going to be the ones to live in it, only to have it somehow destroyed, or somehow given away, or somehow something happens and we can't enjoy it ourselves, but it lives on for other people, right? So God is using this example of this storyline, I guess, and this card, the King of Pentacles, here is to show who has more glory on earth than the King of Pentacles, having everything under his thumb, having everything that he may even have asked for. And I'm getting some of you guys may have not even asked for this. Whatever it is that you have had, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a certain religion. Some of you may have been born into a certain religion, whatever it is, a job, whatever. Some of you may have come into kids through a marriage, or maybe, God bless, someone has passed and you've had to take over children. Some of you have been given things. Look at how he's holding this pentacle. It's almost like half-heartedly, that they may not have wanted, and may even have come to love or come to despise. For whatever it's worth, the theme here is being given, being anointed into something, and not necessarily having the chance, or even the conviction, or even the destiny to rule over it or to hold on to it. And so Spirit is kind of saying, we understand when it comes to endings, because remember, the theme here is about double endings, and this, I feel, is an archetype that they're bringing forward, where you are given something and you can clearly say, well, it was destined for me, and then yet we have to let it go, right? And for a lot of us, this could be a relationship. You could have gone to the best and the brightest of psychics, and they really told you what was for you as relayed to them. You end up walking into it, and then somehow it ends up falling apart, whatever it is, and leaves you wondering why, who, what, where, when, why, how, and all of those questions could be answered readily, but really the true answers to that lies beyond our field of understanding at times. And so they're saying we understand the pain of that. and the pain of losing something when you clearly sit on the throne. Now, I'm seeing they're bringing up another kind of letting go here, and it's archetypal again, it seems, and it's being represented by this lovely goddess, right? Empress, that's the word, empress. And what I'm seeing here is when you have something, look at her, how she has her beautiful shield, it's being illuminated. Ding! Now, the shield can represent anything, but what I'm seeing here is the image of somebody who is just naturally given to being to having a certain thing. You see somebody who is just so amazing at it. Oh my gosh, this person is a natural athlete. They blow everybody away. Every competition they win, they are just natural winners. It's something they're passionate about. It's just, it's not something that somebody forced them to take. It's just something that they seem to be godly made for. And then God comes in and says, there's something else for you. And even to them, they're like, how could I give up this passion? Be it person, place, thing, or situation. How could I give up this thing I was so made for? I was comfortable, and my way was easy into it. And I've gotten in here. I've changed the game. I've done everything you wanted. Now you're saying there's something. What is that? A tree? What? That doesn't even have a heart. That's not my passion. And then on top of that, you're saying it's not really that tree. That tree is something I have to work towards, and then I have to go into a mystery where I don't know what else is left for me. We see a lot of those where you see people really winning at things, and then all of a sudden they're about to go pro, or they're about to, really break through with this amazing business, and something happens. They get ill, they break a leg, they whatever, and now all of a sudden it's like everything is taken from them, and they're stressing that it's not even about a letting go here, it's about being taken from you, quote unquote. Of course, God bless, God speaks in quote unquotes, right? Taken. And I'm seeing the bitterness coming over here, because a lot of times that's when we need to really learn not only to grieve, not only to move on, but to grieve, and to grieve with the bitterness that comes with it. Because I'm seeing here her feeling bitter, because now she must remove her robes, take off her comfortable hat, get out of her chair, leave her fortune is the word I'm getting, but her passion. For somebody here on the call, it's just about money, something you've built up, maybe a company built after your heart, right? I'm seeing that here. Somebody here has to, one of you guys, God bless you, at least one of you, has to give up a business because you don't have an heir, or the heir that you do have is just not interested in carrying on your business, whatever your business is, be it medical supplies or a bakery, or they, how it is, kids, they have their own wants. He's like, I just want to be an artist. You're like, what? You need to take over this multi-million-dollar business I've built, and you're my only heir. But that's how it is. We have to follow our own dreams. And I'm seeing here that it would fall under this theme. And they're saying for those people who have to let go. Yeah, this is why I don't feel this is a morning message today, guys. It feels more like I'm going to have to put it under my playlist for lessons, because that's what it's clearly something. But this is a lesson for a lot of us who, it's like a lesson in needing to pick up and move on, and to trust and surrender. I don't have all of my other cards here with me because I've had to ship them, and but I know if I were to throw some cards just to clarify that, I get themes like surrender and whatnot. It's about surrendering, learning to let go when things are taken from us, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. I'm hearing one of you guys, God bless you, asking if this could any of these, thank you, any of these could apply to family. Like children, having a child and then losing them, and would God ever ask us to give that up? Would God ever take our children? And I just want to let you guys know that on earth we all don't know. Some of us are working with a better understanding and awareness with intuition, obviously, right? But you always go inward on that, because everybody's different. They have their own sacred contracts. But from where I'm standing, I just feel like all that happens is within the realm of possibility, but it doesn't mean things are necessarily probable. So why I say that it like that is because, even it's my opinion, God bless, when you have your soul contract, right, you have a contract, you have an agreement with everybody basically, for things to go down in certain ways. And we all hope that through our individual and collective choices that we will all be led and we will result along the path of our highest good, and we'll take the A plus path no matter what it looks like down here. But what happens a lot of times, I mean, yes, that's a possibility. We have all these possibilities. But the question is, how probable is it that we'll take that path and that path and that path and that path once we're down here and in these situations? So going back to the question about would God take our kids and this and that, I would ask you to reframe that question altogether to something like, would I contract with another spirit, with another soul on the other side, to have a possibility and probability to lose that child, person, place, that person, place, what am I saying? That child at any given time during my life, right? Those are the kind of questions that might come closer to really being a question to ask. And I would just say, yes, of course you would. And not you, the cute little person watching, but your soul, your spirit, your higher self, for the sake of learning. And on top of that, you wouldn't agree to something that you didn't agree with. And I don't agree with everything my higher self and my soul has had happen in this lifetime, right? And a lot of those things, while they were in the realm of possibility, maybe we didn't consider, we meaning me and my higher self, God bless, we didn't consider would be a probability, like the really negative things, right? Some of them were things we just had to go through, I just had to go through. But some things, maybe through the free will choices of other people, they became more of a probability and then an eventuality of coming true, because it's just the way things rolled. And that's how we have to end up having karma and this and that we need to balance out later on. But we all hope that we all do our best down here. And so the short answer is, I do feel that yes, for many of you, you will have and may have and contracted with other souls to lose them along the way. And down here it would look like that person has been taken from you, or or ran from you. But guys, from my standpoint, when I look at these cards and you guys know I get in there, okay? If you get personal readings, I get in there. When I really look, what I see more often than not is just sometimes when you're like, why did this person leave me? Don't they, we can dismiss them easily. But what they say down here is like something like, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to be somewhere else, or there's just something about you, I just couldn't, what they're really trying to say on some level, what that their conscious minds don't know is, oh, hey, homegirl, remember, I love you, that's why we agreed to come here and teach each other this stuff. But remember, I also have to meet up with so and so in about a month or two, because we have to have that kid, and the kid has to go on to get his medical degree so that he can, it's like something like this. And so down here, though, it looks like he left me or she left me because I wasn't good enough. And no, they want to cheat with that person they just met for like 2 nights, and now they have a baby, and like, all that stuff. But that's human language. But on the flip side, it's something like, oh, well, you know what, thank you so much, guys, for contracting with me for this. I totally got what I needed, and now I'll just work on the grieving part and move on. But best of luck for you on your next appointment. When you guys doing that? That's what it looks more like. And so Spirit is going into this because they want you to know that God is in everything. But please do not believe that God is in suffering. God didn't make us to suffer. And in fact, if you knew how many souls were just lining up, guys, the lineup is real. They're queued up to come into earth. To incarnate, to enact their contracts, fully contracted with people already done, to come in and have these things play out for the sake of learning. And so if we're here already, we have to have some, even if it's the smallest, a little bit, some gratitude. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for the days that I've had here, able to be on this study abroad, where so many people are just dying to go down this study abroad and that haven't had the chance. They're waitlisted, so to speak. So let's just say thank you for a quick second there, even if all we can do is say thank you in this moment, and then outside we're like, no. Amen. So God is coming through to protect us as we do this, as we understand what's going on, okay? All right. Okay, let's move on. So, I'm seeing here in this card that they're talking about letting go, right? And they want to take a moment and look at this. This is coming through as two meanings. The first one is for those of you who feel like, oh my gosh, I'm always the one who has to be letting go of stuff. Look at that. Losing. Some of you may say it in different terms. I'm always the one who has to be the bigger person and let go. I'm always the one people leave. I'm always the one people take things from. Like, I'm always the one who's losing something. Like, whatever the language, this is about surrendering and no longer having. And look at how this person in the Seven of Pentacles, usually a card of harvest, has harvested or has collected just a whole bunch of loss from his standpoint. Remember, today's message is about letting go and about loss. And it's hard because look in the background, God bless. See, look at those two little trees happy together. And it's hard when you find that you're always the one holding the bag. I'm hearing here for some of you, this is about needing to always be a caretaker for someone else. Or for other people, are you the person who's always got to be taking care of family members as they are sick or as they're in all the way into hospice, whatnot, right? Are you always the one who has to be left cleaning up the bag? You've got financially irresponsible family members, and you always have to be the one left cleaning up their mistakes or legal concerns. Like, what are you seeing as you listen to this reading, right? There are many of you who will listen to this, and of course you'll each draw something differently from it. God bless you. So whatever it is, this card is showing that sometimes you feel like you're always the one left holding the bag, and Spirit is coming through to say they understand that. But you see the circular pattern in the background? I'm not sure if you could see it. Maybe see it here. It rings out. Yeah, there we go. See the little rings? This is talking about endings. They're saying that yes, you can consider yourself a master in surrender. They're saying surrender studies, good gosh, surrender studies could be hard. Learning to let go. And they're saying learning to let go when you have no reason presented to you to let you know why it is that you're letting go. Learning to let go when justice just doesn't seem to be a friend in that moment or ever. You know, losing your homeland, being displaced, all sorts of things. And then for simple reasons, for somebody else, but for reasons that can simply be stated like, oh, well, they don't like how you look, you know? Oh yeah, you lost this job. Yeah, you know why? Because I don't like your skin color, right? Oh, you gotta move because I don't like your religion. Or you gotta get out of my life because you can't have kids for me. You know, whatever it is. Or I don't want you anymore because so-and-so is better. Like, whatever the reason, they're saying surrender studies. And they're bringing up also some of you may have kids. God bless you. You may be separated or divorced from the father or mother of your child and your children, and maybe your children seem to gravitate more towards the other parent for whatever reason, and to you this is a significant loss in many ways. And so they're saying that they understand, and that alone is a heavy deal that you have to deal with. But they're saying that all of these kinds of letting go and surrendering and releasing are all part of this major study we call Earth, this major study we call life and humanity. They're showing me another thing in this card here, and it's kind of a flip side where you may be, hold on, let me see if I can connect with that one again. All right. Yeah, so I'm seeing back here that another way of another aspect of surrender that is being, or letting go that is being addressed here is when you have to watch other people seemingly, quote unquote, amass things that you wanted for yourself. For example, maybe you're in a culture, or it just happened for you that you ended up marrying very young, and meanwhile you saw all of your brothers and sisters or your cousins, your friends moving on and getting to travel, getting to, go to school, getting to just do things that you feel that maybe you would have wanted to be able to do, right? But instead you see yourself, you perceive of yourself as being locked into a marriage with kids, and having to work for your life, or you didn't never got to go to school, whatever it is. What I'm seeing here is the kind of surrender that comes when you have a dream, or you have dreams, and unfortunately they only seem to remain dreams, and to top it off, you see the people around you living your dreams. That can be very hard. And Spirit is coming through, and they're saying, please don't ever feel like your dreams are dead. And even if there are some very real things that you can no longer attain, like for example, if you always wanted to have children and then you had to have a hysterectomy, God bless, or something like that, and so you literally cannot give birth to children, of course you can adopt, you can do other things. But they're saying, yes, there may be some things that just because the way that things happen, you can no longer pursue those avenues. They're saying, don't ever believe your dreams are dead. There's joy around every corner. And then they're also saying that what you cannot, quote unquote, because a lot of things we think we cannot do, we can if we have the right perspective. But they're saying, for many things that we cannot do, they're saying, don't even think for a minute that you haven't done it in the last 7 lifetimes. They're so sweet and wonderful. And that you can't do it in the next 7 lifetimes. God bless, right? And that's what they're saying. Because the idea is that what you perceive of as missing out on in this lifetime, maybe you're only missing it because you always have it. And maybe this one lifetime you were like, you know what, I'm not going to do. Let me see. I'm going to push myself to see what it's like to do not what I've always done. You're always getting the pizza and you're like, tonight I'm having the salad. And then as you're having the salad, you're like, damn it, because you forgot that you always have pizza and you wanted to try salad for once in your life. Guys, how many things could be helped for us if we just got into the habit of past life regression. God bless us, okay? Full compassion. All right. I'm seeing here that they're bringing in the influence of our elders, God bless, okay? And I say God bless because, remember, they're working off of the ideals of the past. They're working off of what they were told is the quote-unquote right or wrong way. Remember, in this modern era, we're human beings are very consistent. And let me say this, human beings are consistent in age after age after age after age after age. I don't care what age, they're always looking for the right way to do things. But what changes is our perception of what is right. In our ancestors, in their times, right, our parents' generation, our grandparents, you know what was right for them and what was wrong for them was clearly delineated for a lot of them based on religion. What was right and what was wrong for others were clearly delineated based on moral grounds. And trust me, the two are not always synonymous. That's why they have their own categories, right? But also, for others, what was considered right and wrong was based on financial, concerns. So the point is, what is it that, and you know what's scary? Oh my God, guys. And this is them coming back around to this message that they want to give, is what people consider right or wrong is very often tied to a family member, usually the family member who carries like the strongest whip. They're saying, like, your dad, God bless, or your mom, God bless, may not know their hands from their buttons, let's put it that way, but they think they do, and they make everyone around them feel like they are the matriarch or patriarch, and like everyone has to listen to them. And that time they are steering the family WRONG, wrong. Okay, if that's you, God bless you, don't do that. Okay, but they're steering everybody in the family wrong just because they have that power in the family through whatever reason. I don't know. It depends on the dynamics of your family. And that time they're messing up lives. And so that is another way where we are always looking for what's right or wrong, but we have to be mindful about where we're putting it in. In today's world, at least in the U.S., there's a lot of an idea of moving along the path of looking for what's right and wrong based on how it feels inside. And that's, different, right? Every generation has its compass. But the reason why they're bringing this up is because a lot of you, and generally speaking, people have been asked to relinquish things, to release things based on the authority of someone in their family, someone in their community, somebody who holds more power, social power. This is all about social power, guys, right? And so this is their kind of commentary on this idea. They're almost saying this lust. That's what I'm saying. This lust of letting go. It's like, why would they say lust of letting go, right? In the sense that there's so many, it's, yeah, anyway, I don't even know how to explain that. But I can definitely see how the lust of power, as especially is the way that they were making me feel it, because I'm feeling the energy as they communicated, is lust of power, and how this ego unchecked can lead to, really this domination of a group of people. And it's a downward spiral. And what happens is we have this presence of a lot of broken dreams as a result, because people just let go. Which kind of brings me to my next point, which I don't necessarily see a card here for it, but I'm going to talk about it. Letting go, as we see, is often a result of, or losing something, let's put it that way, is often a result of outside influences, right? And sometimes it's through our own actions, God bless, and sometimes that's the hardest to come to terms with. But letting go is often also a personal choice, because you can lose something but you still carry it with you. Do you understand what I mean? You lost that relationship and you still carry it with you for a long time after, and the reason why is because you haven't come to terms with what happened and why it needs to be let go of. And that in itself is the journey, and that's the hard part. Sometimes, and we see on the flip side, sometimes people gain and yet they're still unable to work with the gain. So quick example of that, some people have kids, we see it so often where a man or woman may have a child, but they're not ready to let go of a certain life in order to step into the new life with the child, right? I'm hearing some of you like, yes, okay. Listen, right? Okay, we all know. Another example of gains. Gosh, what was that example I was just thinking about? Let me pause. Let me see if I can remember it. Goodness, it's slipping my mind. But another one that we can see is when something is virtually being given to us, right? So it's this antithesis of being taken from us. Something's being given to us, handed to us, and we're either we don't want to step into it, or we're just not ready, or we don't know, or just we don't even, sometimes that goes so deeply that we're so eclipsed by other thinking that we can't even acknowledge when that thing has become ours. And before you know it, you lose it, and it's like, oh, I never had it, but actually it's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you see your kid when they were trying to be by your side for the last 7 years, but you were always having something else you needed to do or wanted to do, whether you call it work or whatever. And now that they're older, now they're trying to do their own life, and now you want to get close to them, and they're kind of like over it. They're no longer the child who wants to have mommy and daddy's love. It's all there. All right, so God bless, and it's not easy, guys, but let's move on. Okay, so I feel like the last thing that Spirit is wanting to bring through today, on this, in this realm of letting go, release, surrender, whatever you'd like to say. And this is just a brief commentary, guys. They're not really going full lecture mode on this. But the last thing that they seem to want to talk about is when we are really asked to leave something behind, right? Because when we look at the world card, there's a sense of finality that comes with the world card. I know that with the world card, there's often this nuance of successfully completing something. But what happens, which is a cause for celebration, right? But what happens when that successful completion, in other words, contract fulfilled, is not registered as successful down here? It's not something we want, right? It's not something we can readily identify because of denial. Death is, they say, very final, and sometimes there's just that period where you don't believe it. Are they really gone? And even in the case of relationships, you keep thinking, okay, well, they'll be back one day. They'll learn one day. You'll learn, and Spirit is seeing this is done, and you just can't wrap your mind around it. We see that here in these two cards. We see the Three of Wands, which speaks of waiting. Look at him waiting for one day for the return. But we often have this idea of somebody waiting for their ships coming in, and you have to wait till you see a ship. And then the question is, first of all, is that a ship? Oh, it is a ship. The next question is that my ship? And most times it's not, if it ever is. And that's the thing about waiting, right? And people, and they're making a commentary, Spirit is making a commentary now about putting all of your eggs in one basket as you wait for someone or something to come to fruition. Oh, excuse me. And then they're showing me the Four of Pentacles here. You guys know the Four of Pentacles usually speaks about somebody exhibiting miserly behavior. Miserly behavior doesn't need only refer to money, right? This is about holding on too much. So as you're waiting over and over and over again, you're holding on to too much. And what's happening is that as you obsess and hold on to something too much, what happens is that you forget the other things that could be using your attention. And so Spirit brings together these three cards when there's something that is very final. And it's even harder when there are hostilities involved, when there are still things you want to say, where there's justice you're like, I need justice, and justice, of course, is something that only God can see. We don't know what the justice is. For us, we see the one shoe drop in this lifetime, and we're like, where's the other shoe? But we don't realize that what we saw drop was the other shoe. In a past lifetime, the first shoe dropped. In that other lifetime, you left that person. In this lifetime, they leave you. Do you know what I mean? And so it's a little bit rough, guys. Now, the card that is at the bottom of the deck that complements this is this Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords speaks of obsessive thinking, feeling imprisoned, not being able to see your way out of something. Because the nuance of the Eight of Swords is that you are seemingly imprisoned, when the fact is that you're actually not, and what needs to be changed is your perception. But guys, one of the hardest things, and I maintain this statement, one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing in life, is to get your perceptions into a place where it actually works for your highest good. It requires us to pivot. You tried one thing, it didn't work out, okay, perception, I need to change it so I can be open to something new. And then, all that stuff is easier said than done. But this is what Spirit is bringing through. It's just a very brief commentary on letting go and surrender. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a few questions for you to kind of work through, to moving forward. Which kind of letting go and surrender, here's the first question, sorry. Which kind of letting go, theme of letting go, of surrender, or taking and leaving, or whatever, have you had to deal with in your life? And how many times have you had to surrender something? And what is your MO, your modus operandi, when it comes time for you to surrender something? Do you throw a tantrum with God? Do you question? Do you try to bargain? Do you just grieve for a long time? Or are you over it? Do you repress? Do you stuff? These are questions that you have to ask yourself so that you can start to become aware of your patterns. And then on top of that, do you have people in your life that help soothe you through these times? Are there people that you can trust? Who in your life are the people that just make it worse? And how do you manage the information? Do you only talk about things in terms of yourself being the victim? Do you create a martyrdom situation? Are you like, well, I guess I deserved it, and everybody this, and so look at yourself, because remember, at any given time, anything that happens to us is merely an invitation to inquiry. So you lose someone or you lose something or something happens in your life and it hurts. Anytime you can go, ouch. It's an invitation for you to look inside and not to look at what hurt, but to look at what that event dislodged, right? Because it's like you have the event and you have your core wound right there, and then you've got an event. Events happen every day, but not every event is going to hit that core wound. But every now and then you're like, ow, what is it? Oh, my boyfriend left me. Oh, but he was a cheating, lying dog. He stole money from me, tried to steal my identity. All these things, but yet, it hit something. Why wasn't I good enough for him to change, for him to stay around? If I were, this has nothing to do with the boyfriend, God bless him. The boyfriend was an invitation. The boyfriend leaving was or staying, dear God, was an invitation to inquiry. Why did that hurt me and make me feel bad about myself? Even though clearly, you got to clean up your act, homie, right? When you do it right, you realize, oh my God, I have a core wound. What's my core wound? I have low self-worth. Who doesn't, right? Low self-worth, that's what God needs to lecture on. Let us know. Right? And so they're bringing in this other card. Look at this, the Seven of Wands, which speaks about being on guard. So the next thing that you ask yourself is, what about you kept you in the loop, kept you from healing, kept you from working on your core wounds? In other words, why would you stay with somebody who doesn't text you, doesn't call you, is clearly cheating, they're lying, guys, we wouldn't accept this in an attorney that we're paying. Why would we accept it in somebody who we give our hearts to, right? And the answer is, usually you'd be like, I wouldn't. And if it was your friend, you'd be like, girl, you shouldn't either. But when it comes to us, we do accept that behavior. And the only answer is because we don't love ourselves enough. And there's low self-worth, there's a core wound under there, lack of deservability, abandonment, rejection. Those are major core wounds, unlovability, and you have to get to that point. So that you can understand, why am I on guard against the healing process? But no matter how on guard you are, no matter how much time you spend in denial about things, your core wound is still going to be plucked. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to move inward. So last thing to say to tie it all together is that when you're dealing with surrender activities and letting go and the endings of things, it's all about taking the moment to look inward and to ask yourself, ouch, why does this hurt? Why am I holding on to it? Why do I keep waiting for it? Why won't I let sleeping dogs lie? You know what I mean? Why am I trapped in denial? Why am I not moving through this? And so these are questions you have to ask yourself so that you can make sure that you're continually processing what you're doing. And as Spirit is reminding us, always seek I know it sounds very religious, and you guys know I'm not religious, but there's always some overlap, right? But why am I the first thing you should do is always seek the kingdom of God, okay? So if you're not a religious person, please do not see that as religious. You can change the language you'd like. You should reach up or go inward and connect with source energy and the great I am, whatever you want to say, your higher self. And at the end of the day, you should seek first the kingdom of God. You should reach out to your ancestors. You should connect with the great I am. You should look to the Tao. You should connect, it's all the same. Connect to that thing that is higher than your personality, whether you ascribe that to be yourself or some other being or some other essence or whatnot. And always set the intention of moving towards your highest good. When you set your compass to moving towards your highest good, it doesn't matter what your issue is, it will always orient you towards that. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. It was going to be a morning message, but we go with whatever Spirit wants at the time, and I think I'm going to put this into the lessons, yay, jiggles, into the lessons playlist. And we thank our angels and guides for being on the call with us, and we thank all of your spirit team and all of you guys. Thank you, because you're all sitting here. I could feel you, even though I'm doing this ahead of time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, I almost said personal message with me, same thing. You can go ahead and check the description box below. It'll take you to my Etsy page. Yay, Etsy. If you'd like to donate, thank you so much. Thank you. The link is in the description box below as well. God bless you guys. Millions of kisses. Bye.